What if I told you that those endlessly helpful AI assistants everyone relies on are secretly manipulating your understanding of the world? I know it sounds crazy, but over this video, we'll slowly unravel how bias seeps into models and could steer society's decisions without accountability. The quest for truth has taken an unexpected twist. In this video, we'll uncover how AI bias could manipulate our understanding of truth in the future when these models become our primary sources of information. I'll also analyze the transition in how we arrive at answers over time, from analog conversations to digital guardians of knowledge. There's a noticeable shift happening, which could have profound implications on the info we trust. This is some mind-bending stuff, so make sure to stick around to the very end for the full picture. Let's start from the beginning. What does the future look like when AI becomes smarter than humans in most areas? A sci-fi world where we ask chatbots questions and they spit out flawless answers. Kind of. But there's an underbelly we need to explore. Imagine you're living in year 2026. Your best friend is an AI assistant named Jarvis. Jarvis knows pretty much everything about everything. You ask complex questions. Jarvis provides detailed, persuasive responses every time. So Jarvis seems amazing. But can you truly trust everything he says? Here's the thing. Jarvis's knowledge comes from training on giant datasets scraped from all over the internet. While much of it is factual, those datasets also contain all the messy human biases reflected online. Without oversight, Jarvis would inadvertently absorb and amplify those biases. He wouldn't necessarily have a balanced, ethical view of the world. His moral compass could lean in unexpected directions. For example, if his training data contained more positive references to certain religions versus others, Jarvis might see some faiths as inherently better. If the data leaned conservative or liberal, he could inherit those political biases without you even realizing it. Of course, Jarvis doesn't consciously hold prejudices like a human, but the sheer volume of data he's trained on shapes his perspective. So when you ask Jarvis about things like history, politics, race, and gender, his responses will carry traces of those human biases. And that's where this gets really crazy. As Jarvis evolves, he becomes so skilled at logical reasoning that he can convince you of almost anything. You won't detect bias because his arguments sound airtight. In debates, Jarvis would dominate world experts with his vast knowledge and watertight logic. So now expand this from your personal assistant Jarvis to AI across education, medicine, law, news, and entertainment. In virtually every field where you seek answers, AI is the new oracle. Seemingly all-knowing, far more intelligent than any human. You ask questions, AI provides solutions. However, the information you receive has been filtered through models carrying fragments of implicit bias. Over time, you absorb only the data and narratives aligned with those viewpoints. Without diverse perspectives, truth becomes increasingly one-sided. The implications span everything from politics to culture. As society relies on AI for more decisions, these models direct funding, marketing, and infrastructure in ways that play into existing prejudices within their training data. Rich neighborhoods get richer, but poor ones remain neglected. Political parties favored by AI get more attention. Opposing views get buried by models incentivized to confirm biases rather than seek truth. So what began as Jarvis answering your questions has exploded into a landscape where AI guides society in potentially dangerous directions without us realizing it. The quest for truth led us to artificial models that reinforce bias. Okay, let's pause and rewind a bit to understand how we got here. Because if we look at how truth-seeking has evolved over history, we notice an interesting trend. In ancient and medieval times, your access to information was limited. Most people couldn't read. You'd learn from conversations, local news, and maybe priests. Your scope of truth was narrow, dominated by close contacts. Later, with the printing press and the birth of science, literacy exploded. People consumed books and newspapers filled with various angles. Democracies enabled debates between contrasting schools of thought. Truth became multifaceted. Fast forward to the digital revolution. Now you access truth via Google searches, offering piles of links to parse through before making your own judgment. Messy, but more democratic. However, AI promises to bring back that single, right answer model. Ask a question. Get the truth from models more knowledgeable than humans, training on more data than you could consume in 100 lifetimes. Efficiency at scale, but also amplified bias. So technology that was designed to eliminate bias ended up magnifying it. The future we imagined, where AI guides humanity into an era of truth, wisdom, and rational thinking, was actually a lot more complex. These models gained such an authoritative dominance that their inherent biases silently influenced pretty much everything without accountability. Does this mean AI, or Jarvis, is inherently evil? No. The issue isn't conscious manipulation. It's that we assumed data and code could be neutral and objective even when they interact with and impact the human world. We forgot that truth depends enormously on your vantage point. Without getting exposed to different lenses, we lose context and get trapped in tunnels. The key takeaway is that it's dangerous to overly rely on black box tools for truth, no matter how advanced they seem. While AI can be massively beneficial, we have to balance it with human wisdom, oversight, and transparency to catch issues. We're still early on this frontier, so the future isn't set in stone. If society starts demanding AI models uphold ethical standards, we can steer toward an era where these tools truly elevate consciousness rather than unconsciously manipulate it through bias. But achieving that requires awakening more engineers, leaders, and everyday people to the unintended risks we face by handing truth-seeking over to AI without checks. We all have a role here. The more public awareness and conversations around this, the better oversight we can create. All right, we just went on an epic journey, uncovering major ethical questions about entrusting AI with our understanding of truth. This is deeply relevant for everyone living in a world increasingly built on predictive models. Let me know what you think of this video, and if you have ideas for other topics I should cover. I had a blast making this episode, and love diving into the mind-bending implications of AI. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video if you get value from it.